after the heroics of Harewood comes the action from Anglesey as we head west into North Wales for round 2 of the virtual Morgan Racing Series. TyCroes sits precariously on the cliffs overlooking the Irish Sea, but whilst the sight of the circuit perched on the abyss might be disconcerting for some, it didn't distract our drivers from one of the most technically challenging club circuits in the UK. With both high and low speed corners as well as significant elevation changes, TyCroes has it all built into a 2.5 mile circuit. And they were quite clearly excited to be here too, as no sooner had the server launched for round 2, had a number of drivers joined to start their attempts for the crown of TyCroes. All in all, 10 drivers turned out and notched up a total of 893 laps and over 24.5 hours of circuit time. The server was once again set to be dry all week with a light wind and a track temperature of about 20 degrees. Conditions were set to improve as more laps were completed by the drivers, and hopefully that would mean by the time the second weekend came around, the circuit would be at its fastest. Let's now take a look at how everyone got on in round 2. Keen to follow on from his round 1 victory, Phil Cruikshank set an early target once again in the Aero Supersports, highlighting some clean lines with some very precise driving. Alan Clark continued to develop his form in sim racing. He also got on early and started to set some encouragingly competitive times in the +6. It's great to see Alan improving. Another driver keen to prove himself was Graham Constandalos, who took out the +4 for a handy early shakedown. TyCroes is well known for its intricately demanding and exacting lines, and it's easy to see why. No sooner as we cross the relatively short start-finish straight are we facing turn 1. Target is a sharp 90-degree left that tightens on exit and is very easy to run wide on. That leads us into banking, the first of the 3 hairpins on this circuit. It requires a careful line in to get the best out of, but a quick exit here really sets up a good lap time. The long right at Church is up next. Lifting lightly on the run-in gives the front end just enough grip to get the car rotating, and the wide exit means a good line can save seconds on the run up to Rocket. Avoiding a tie line at this point gives the opportunity for a straight braking zone into Rocket. Don't leave your braking too late though, as the corner peaks just before the left-hander, meaning the car will go light if you miss your braking spot. The circuit drops away quickly into Rocket out, the second hairpin. Hold the throttle a little around here to get the best line and take advantage of the slight camber and positive G. We then take the rise into Peel, which as the name suggests peels away right all the way through, meaning the car will be light throughout. Corkscrew comes up next and offers a good opportunity to gain some time with a precise entry, take a wide line in and a late apex. This gives the best chance of maximising the car's pace up to top price straight. As hairpin comes into view, we once again look for a late braking point, a wide entry and a late apex to maximise the run back down the hill. Bus stop requires a deceptively early braking point as the downhill left-hander is more than 90 degrees and tight throughout. It's very satisfying to get right though, and usually confirms a quick lap. A quick time today should be around about the 2-minute mark, but as the circuit continues to improve, look for times around 1:58 for the winners. As the week went on, Warren Clark got back in his preferred +8 and set a very good time, landing him in a temporary 3rd place, before switching over to the Morgan Aero 8 to take on the leading drivers. Howard Clark continued to improve from round 1, getting ever closer to Phil in the Aero 8, but also setting down a useful time in the +6. And then came along the three musketeers to shake things up. Freddie Hayth, Max Langridge and Richard Irving joined Vmog on Wednesday. They immediately got to work ripping up what the rest of us thought were very good lap times and dismantling what we believed these cars were capable of. Freddie, who joined first, beat the time set by Phil and Howard by almost a second and a half. Max and Richard then joined them a day later, and the three of them started chipping away at the 1:36.5 that Freddie had originally set, with the time being steadily nudged down by Max, Richard and Freddie over the course of 350 laps until Freddie had got an unmatched 1:34.47. Max got within half a second to set a 1:34.84, and Richard couldn't quite match them in the end and settled initially for third place. Nigel Hodson returned late in the week to put time on the board in the +8. Howard Clark then tried to respond to the time set by Freddie, Max and Richard by taking a further second off his earlier time to set a respectable 1:37.36. And also not one to be beaten, Phil returned to the server by the end of the week too. Initially able to take a second and a half off his previous time, you could tell he was pushing hard but couldn't quite catch Freddie with the final best of 1:36.47. Freddie had ultimately set the fastest overall time. In the process, he had also set a record for the highest number of laps and the most amount of time spent on the server, having racked up 228 laps in total and nearly 7 hours of server time in the pursuit of the win at TyCroes. So it was a shame then that he still wasn't fastest, as Richard Irving snatched the trophy on the last day with a formidable time 2.5 seconds faster than anyone else in the Morgan +6 and taking the win with the benefit of the handicap. So the final results then. Richard Irving wins in the +6 with a 1:58.03. Freddie and Max were split by less than a half a second in the Aero 8, both finishing with a 1:58, and that leaves Phil and Howard to round out the top 3. Graham Constandos leads the best of the rest in the +8. Warren and Alan get a 7th and 8th, and Nigel and Colin round out the entries with near identical times in the +8. Richard claims the crown at TyCroes and collects a maximum of 30 points. Freddie takes second place and Max grabs third and 21 points. That leaves Phil with 18 and Howard on 16, and everyone else grabbing the remaining available points. And this brings us on to the championship score. Phil still leads with 48 points and Graham follows in second with 40. Howard is in third with 37 and Richard jumps immediately into 5th place with 30. We might be 2 rounds in, but there's still plenty of spaces available to join in the action at Vmog. All you need is a membership with the MSCC and the ability to play Assetto Corsa on PC. Just drop Graham a message and he'll help you get signed up. Once again, we hope you enjoyed our coverage. Please give us a like if you did. We hope you can join us again in 2 weeks' time for round 3 at Lowton Park. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up with all the racing action throughout the winter. And finally, thank you so much for joining us here again at TyCroes. My name is Graham Constandlos and you've been watching round 2 of Vmog, brought to you by the Morgan Sports Car Club.